Hello and welcome to my channel. If you're new here, hi, my name is Melleny. If you'd like to get to know me a little bit better, all my social media links are linked down below in the description bar, so be sure to check that out if you're interested in any kind of way. This month is a really great month because I'm actually doing Thrilltober. If you don't know what Thrilltober is, it is basically an entire month where I feature thrillers just because I tend to feel the need to read thrillers in October, like I'm sure many other people do, because it's like spooky season. I've actually got a couple of piles I want to go through. These are not necessarily all the books that I'm planning on getting to this month, but I did put them into little stacks of what they each come from. So there's like family thrillers, which are oriented around like family killings, family kind of stuff. Then there are popular authors, which I'm really excited to get to. Two of them are movie adaptations, and then we have like groups of people, and then we just have some YA and some other ones that I'm really interested in reading this month. So I think we're going to jump into it straight away just because it's going to be a lot quicker and easier that way. So the very first book that I have here, which is part of the family thriller section of the genre, I have The House of Brides by Jane Cochran. This sounds so interesting. Basically, it's like this family where they're these successful women who end up dying. We have this new person who joins this family unbeknownst to her, who has like this history, and so she wants to find out more about it. I think it's going to be really great. I then have Little Darlings by Melleny Golding. This follows a mother who has just had twins and someone is threatening to take them away from her, and that's only if she leaves them alone. And I've heard really crazy things about this, so I'm really excited to jump into this and see if it's worth the hype. And then the next one and the last one in the family genre, The Fifth to Die by J.D. Barker. I'm guessing this is familial because it says murder, it's a family affair, so I'm very interested. This also sounds really cool. Our main victim, who is Ella Reynolds, goes missing 3 weeks ago but is found in the frozen lake, which has been frozen for 3 months, and there's a huge investigation, and it just sounds amazing. This will also technically fall under detective thriller, so I'm very excited for this. This is quite a chunker, but I am very interested. I think this is going to be such an interesting read. The next 3 books that I have here are books that I'm really excited to get to because they're from popular authors or they've been turned into films. And the first one that I have here is The Girl on the Train by Paula Hawkins. I've watched the movie, I will say, but I'm very excited to see how the movie and the book differs because we're presented with this very unreliable narrator, and that is one of my favorite things because I love, because they make things so much more interesting, and you second guessing yourself, you're second guessing the main character, and it's a great time. I then have my very first Karen Slaughter book. This is The Last Widow. I think this is part of a series. I'm not too sure which one though, but I'm very excited. I've never read Karen Slaughter before. I've heard amazing things about her writing and her books, and honestly, I'm just really excited to jump into this ASAP. And then the last book that I have that is in like popular authors / movie adaptations is Widows by Linda LaPlante. I don't know how you actually say this. This movie has just recently come out, and I think in fact the second book also has just come out in this series, and I think that's also being turned into a movie, and I'm really excited because I've heard great things, so I'm really excited to jump into this. I think it's just going to be interesting, and I mean, why not? Because I believe it's about like widows whose husbands were also criminals and were planning on doing a heist, and the heist goes wrong and they die, so their wives, these widows, picks up the heist and continues with it and sees it through or something. I don't know, do they finish it? I hope so. The next couple of books that I'm hoping to get to this month all fall under the group of like, you either know the killer or, you know, with groups of people. Basically, it follows a group of people, and I'm really excited for some of these because I've heard great things about a couple of them, and others just interest me like crazy. So the first one that I have here is The Guilty Party by Mel McGrath. This just sounds so interesting. It's about 4 friends who are out in the night, and then something happens, and it's basically about who's responsible and what happens if you don't do anything. Are you just as responsible as the killer or the perpetrator of the crime? I then have The Hunting Party by Lucy Foley. I've been really wanting to read this one for a while because once again, it's about a group of people and they're all invited to this place, and it's a murder among friends, and honestly that just sounds amazing, and this cover just pulls me in because it's so yellow and so bright. The next book that I have here is one that I've actually been really excited to read. It sounds amazing, and honestly I think I'm gonna pick it up ASAP, and that is The Furies by Katie Lowe. This is basically set in 1998. It's about a 16-year-old girl who is found dead on the school property dressed in white and posed on a swing. There's no known cause of death. But 4 girls know what happened, and they've kept their silence until now. So like, I think it takes place in 2 timelines, and I'm very excited to see how that unfolds. The last one has probably been a book that I've been so excited to get to because it sounds absolutely amazing. I kid you not, and it's The Killer You Know. So essentially, they're all friends with this one guy, and the guy's name is Will, and he jokes saying he's gonna kill people, and he wants to become a serial killer. And he like lays out these plans to his friends who pretty much just laugh it off. And then 15 years later, it gets to the point where these killings start to happen, and these friends start to notice that there's a similarity, and like, it's just amazing. And these people are trying to like find their friend and be like, what the hell are you doing, my friend? So it just sounds great, and I'm really excited for it. We're nearing the end of this somewhat TBR kind of situation. I'm not going to talk about all the YA thrillers I'm really excited to get to. I'm quite into reading YA lately, so I'm really excited for some of these titles. I have a lot more YA thrillers on my shelf, but these are the ones that I'm definitely intrigued in getting to. The first one is All Rights Reserved by Gregory Scott Katsolis. This is basically in a world where every word you say has a value to it, so some are worth more than others, and it just sounds so interesting. And I think I then have one of my most anticipated reads for the year, and that is Wilder Girls by Rory Powers. I've actually heard some really mixed things about this. This sounds really, really great, I will not lie, but I've also heard some really not so great things about it. But I'm hopefully gonna love this a lot, so we'll see how that all goes. I then have Contagion by Terry Terry. This follows a girl who is missing, and I haven't actually heard much about this, but I'm really intrigued by it, not only by like the cover. And then the next thriller, YA thriller that I have is The Diabolic. It's designed to protect, designed to destroy. This is a different kind of thriller. I'm not quite sure exactly what it's about, but I've heard great things. We then have Toxic by Nikki Cloak. This follows another group of friends. Something happens to the main girl, Hope, who finds herself on a beach surrounded by strangers, unsure of how she actually got there. So I'm excited, and like, it's about, I think it's also like an unreliable narrator situation. Then we're getting to the end of this. And then the next one that I have here is Tradition by Brendan Keeley. So this follows like an elite group of people, and there are 2 characters who don't want to take part in the more sinister traditions of the school. I'm very excited to see how this unfolds. I've heard okay things about that, but I'm really excited to see what I think of it by myself. And then the last YA thriller that I have here is probably one where you're like, what? And that is Hunting Prince Dracula by Carrie Maniscalco. I officially read Stalking Jack the Ripper last month and loved it. So I'm really excited to continue with this. I might listen to this on audiobook, or I might read it physically. It all depends. I probably will listen to it. I'm really excited to continue Audrey Rose and Thomas's adventures together. So I'm really excited. The next 3 books that I have here are books that I'm interested in getting to, but I'm unsure if I can get to them because I already have quite a hefty bunch of books that I would like to get to, well, at least that I'm interested in getting to this month. The first book that I have here is Daisy in Chains by Sharon Bolton, and the tagline for this is, would you fall for a serial killer? And 3 of his victims did. This kind of is like when people are like super obsessed with serial killers and then like fall in love with them, and it's kind of crazy. And then the next one that I have here is Sleeper 13 by Rob Sinclair. I'm really excited to see how this one unfolds. I also have Fugitive 13, which is a sequel, so I'm very excited to jump into that one once I finish this. Then the last one that I have here is probably one that sounds like the most interesting to me. Like, it continues to sound amazing, and I can't wait to jump into it, and that is Blood Cruise by Matt Strandberg, because basically this all takes place on a boat, a cruise, and there's a serial killer on board, and the tagline for this is, on the Baltic Sea, no one can hear you scream. I'm very excited for this, honestly, cannot wait to jump into this as soon as I possibly can. It is quite a chunker, so I don't know when that will happen. These are some of the thrillers that I'm really excited to get to. There's obviously quite a large stack of them. I probably won't be able to get to all of them just because there are quite a few, but these are some of the few that I'm really looking forward to getting to. If you have any recommendations for me, leave them down in the description bar below and I'll definitely check them out. I'm a big fan of thrillers, even though I technically only read them once a year. And without further ado, I'll see you in the next video.